What's going on, my friends? This is Solomon. Today I'm going to talk about leadership secrets of the Marine Corps. I remember when I was going to the school at the Citadel, so I could become a United States Marine officer. I had to get my degree and then go to school. So in order for me to become an officer. So I remember I met a man by the name of Mr. Coyne. And Mr. Coyne was very, very wise. He was influential. He was powerful. He was healthy, successful. He had a great family life. And he was the Entrepreneur of the Year for the state of South Carolina. And he did it with a 6th grade level education. I remember Mr. Coyne, he invited me to his house. And we had lunch. And I had to ask him, I said, Mr. Coyne, how did you do it? And you're wise, you're powerful, you're influential, you have government officials knocking down your door for your support. You became the Entrepreneur of the Year for the state of South Carolina. And you own numerous properties. You're buying like 2 or 3 properties a month. And then you own many franchises. And you did it all with a 6th grade level education. And he said, come here, Solomon, let me show you something. So we were walking through his house. And we went through his, and we were going to this office, and he says, this is by far the most important room in my house. And I'm thinking to myself, what can it be? So we went inside the room, and he said, what is obvious in this room, Solomon? I said, Mr. Coyne, obviously you have a prominent library. It was separated into health, wealth, real estate, investments, stock market, history, psychology, right? Real estate, it was all set. He had CDs, he had books everywhere, he had tapes. And I said, yes, Mr. Coyne, it's obvious your library is prominent in this room. He said, exactly. He said, remember this, Solomon. Wealthy people have big libraries. Poor people have big TVs. I'm thinking, wow. And he said, since you're going to be working with me, Solomon, here's what I want you to do. I said, what's that, Mr. Coyne? He said, I want you to write a goal to earn $1 million. I said, I like you already, Mr. Coyne. And then he said, then I want you to give it all away. And I'm thinking to myself, and I looked at him, I said, hey, Mr. Coyne, what are you smoking? I never heard something like that, especially coming from someone who, grew up, right across the street from the projects. You're telling me, to write a goal to earn $1 million and then give it all away. I said, what are you smoking, Mr. Coyne? He said, listen to me, Solomon. Stop being from New Jersey. Stop being hard-headed and start listening to me. I said, what's that, Mr. Coyne? I want you to write a goal to earn $1 million. Then I want you to give it away. Because it's not the money that's important. It's the person that you become in pursuit of the money that becomes important. And then he was trying to teach, while I was under his mentorship and his leadership and his guidance, he was trying to teach me his philosophy and feed me his philosophy. He says, remember this, Solomon, you're the average of the 5 people that you're always with. I said, what do you mean, Mr. Coyne? He said, do you have 5 broke friends? I said, yes. He said, do you know them very well? I said, yes, I do. And he said, I can guarantee you that you're the 6th broke friend. And I'm thinking to myself, the man is right. I'm with 5 broke friends and I'm the 6th one. The man is right. What else, Mr. Coyne? What else can you feed me? And he was trying to teach me. He taught me a lot of lessons about life, about leadership, about success. And he was just mentoring me and guiding me into, just life. And he says, remember this, Solomon, what I'm going to teach you is probably the most profound lesson that I can ever teach you. I said, what's that? He said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to learn how to model human excellence by standing on the shoulders of giants. And I really didn't understand and couldn't grasp the concept. But he was trying to feed me. He was trying to teach me. But that one lesson I did not understand until I became a Marine Corps officer and I was stationed at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. And I met these incredible leaders, these colonels and these generals who became direct influence over my life. They were phenomenal in their mentality. They were phenomenal in their psychology. They were phenomenal in their philosophy. And they taught me. And I remember my battalion commander. And I'll talk more about him because he had a profound impact in my life. And the leadership lessons that he taught me was just absolutely inspirational and powerful. And I remember I was hand selected by the commanding general of Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. He picked me to become the protocol officer. And I was in charge of all his guests. And you're talking about guests from 1-star generals to 4-star generals and politicians and, very powerful and prominent people, the shakers and the movers of this country. And I was able to talk with them because I'm the one that was escorting them. So I was asking them questions and I got to know many of them very well. And I remember looking at the general and I'm like, wow, man, one day I want to be just like him because he was so magnetic. People just gravitated to him. He was just phenomenal. And I remember asking his aide, I said, Dom, how is the general so powerful, so magnetic, so influential? And he said, Solomon, he said, dude, the general will wake up every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. And he would read books on psychology. He would read books on business. He'll read books on life. He'll just read books on military history. And, and he would just read. And then he would exercise for 1 hour. And then he would just prepare himself for the day, for the challenges that he knows he's going to have to face. And he said something that was very, very shocking. He said, Solomon, he said, while you're having your 10th dream, the general just got his second wind. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's why the general's so powerful. That's why he's so magnetic and so influential. That's why he's such an incredible transformational leader, because he works on his craft. He reads, he works on his craft, he practices his craft. But here's the best lesson that I learned from General Bailey. He said, the greatest lesson, the greatest gift that you can give to your family, your friends, your Marines, your loved ones is the gift of your own personal and professional development. Wow. Once I understood that concept, I started reading more books. I started listening to more audio programs. I started to surround myself with more influential people. And that had a profound impact in my life. And I'm forever grateful for what I was able to learn from him, both directly and indirectly. The next person that had an incredible, powerful impact in my life while I was in the Marine Corps was a man by the name of Colonel Hunifield. Powerful, powerful. I call him the dynamic manager. In fact, the colonel taught me the psychology of influence. He taught me how to effectively manage people. Wow. And he was basically the general's right-hand man. And I remember he would just sit me in his office and he would just go over with me on why he would make. I call him the master puppeteer because he knew exactly how to handle people in any position. And he had total control of the whole situation. I remember here's the greatest lesson that I learned from the Colonel Hunifield. I learned that all dynamic managers have a severe case of what I call PTSD. P. They understand how to improve processes, implement procedures, and train personnel. T. They're consistently training their personnel, both professionally and personally. S, strict supervision is the key to effective management and leadership. And in D, this is what separates the average manager from the most profound, prolific, and incredible, outstanding managers. He taught me how to become a dynamic disruptor. Here's why. You see, disruption leads to innovation. Innovation leads to technology. Technology is what helps improve processes, procedures, and personnel. The Colonel taught me well. And I'm forever grateful for what he was able to teach me. Powerful, powerful dynamic manager. And he became an incredible, influential mentor, and I'm forever grateful. The next person that taught me some leadership secrets of the Marine Corps was a man, General Yu, who I was his aide de camp. And this man was powerful. He was the commanding general of Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego. And I was able to follow him and just observe him and witness him and learn from him. And what he taught me was his philosophy on life, philosophy on leadership, philosophy on management, philosophy on people, just incredible mindset. General Yu was what I call spooky smart. Very, very smart. You're not getting anything past him. And I remember the first day that I was his aide de camp, he tasked me to complete a report. And I remember I worked on it. I gave 100% of my time, effort, and energy in putting this report together. It was a one-page report, but I remember that I wanted to make sure that the margins were correct, it was grammatically correct, that there was no spelling errors. I just wanted to make sure that it was 100%. And my first day, first task, I wanted to make sure that the general was going to be proud. Yeah, I'm proud. I picked the right person. So when I went to the general's office, I had a report in the folder, and I gave it to the general. And then I said, General, your report is ready. And he looked at me, grabbed the report, opened up the folder. 2 seconds. Closed the folder and looked at me and said, is this the best that you can do? And I looked at the general. I grabbed the report. I said, no, General, that's not the best I could do. No, I could do better. No, I'm working on it right now. And I went to my office, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, man, probably the general is just regretting that he picked me as the aide de camp, and he's probably saying I'm the worst captain ever. And oh, my God, man. And all these negative thoughts, you know how we always have as humans. We have all these negative thoughts that just haunts us. And I'm thinking, and then I opened up the folder, I'm saying to myself, wow, the general didn't even make any remarks. He didn't even pen change I said, what's wrong with this report? So when I went home that night, I'm telling you right now, I gave 10,000% of my time, effort, and energy in putting this report together. I turned that one-page report into 25 pages. I worked on it all night. I gave 10,000%. I made sure I had quotes. I made sure this was going to be the best report that he ever received from any captain. But I worked on it all night long. The next morning, I went to the general's office. This time I was afraid. I was scared. But you can't show the general that you're afraid. So I went to the general's office and I was afraid. So I didn't want to disappoint the general again. I thought I disappointed him in the beginning. So I was afraid. And I went to his office and I said, and I had to cover my voice because it was kind of trembling. So I said, General, here's your report. And he looked at me, grabbed the report, kind of shook. Because it was pretty thick. I didn't know. I was a rookie. You're supposed to reduce the amount of work that you give to the general, not increase it. I turned a one-page report to like 25 pages. He grabbed the report, opened up the folder. 2 seconds again. Closed the folder. And then he said, Solomon, is that the best that you can do? And I looked at him. I said, General, I don't know what I said to him, but it must have been convincing because he took that report